All right, let's look at this. All righty, everybody. Thank you for showing up to this Legal Shield and Field Notes webinar. This is Thursday, January 30th, wrapping up the end of the year. This is shortly, it's going to be June, July, and we'll be back into Christmas. So it's going to go quick. I can tell you, I can already get that feeling. All right, so let me just go ahead. Today, wanted just to kind of go over some functions.
I'm already preparing my brokers for summer enrollment.
There you go. Well, you got a goal, so you better get on your goal because if you want to make the 100% increase, you're definitely going to have to be on top of it, weekly, monthly. It's going to be this account. Oh, damn it. Good job, baby. All right. So let me share my screen. Just you guys can definitely ask me questions if you have, of course. But when helping Jolene, I wanted to kind of just maybe go over some of the functions where you can do things because literally you can do things from many different places within the CRM. So just wanted to kind of like go over that just for you guys to kind of have an idea, where you can do things, right? So like from here, this page, the dashboard, if you saw some recent activity and you wanted to see what that activity was, you can click the name, right? You can click this name right here and it'll take you to the account. And then there you can basically you can look at the full timeline, or if you wanted to look at just messages, right? Whether if it's emails or text messages, you could just do that. A lot of people don't understand what this little button is, but include undelivered items. So if there's anything that hasn't been delivered, essentially you can click this and it will show. Also, if you just send an email and you're not seeing it for whatever reason, let's say maybe you didn't realize your internet, like your wireless is, slow or not connected at the moment, then you would most likely see the email that you just sent, not so that you sent another one, because I think I've seen people where it didn't kind of give them the confirmation that they did, and then they sent it again, and then they got two emails going out to the person, which it's not bad, but it's probably best not to do things like that. So this little button will allow you to see the stuff that hasn't been delivered. Same with the appointments as well. If you've got any appointments that haven't been fulfilled or anything like that, you can check this and it will definitely show you everything. So just to keep that in mind, wanted to highlight that. Now, let's say you're here, but now you want to look at something to do with like maybe an action plan, right? You can hit action plans right here and it will take you to action plans. Now, this will show anything currently in motion, right? So this is one from before. Looks like it was completed, 0 of 0. Not sure what this action plan is, but if you click this little, it's like a square with an arrow, it will open up the action plan. Let's see if it goes to it. I wonder if it's, okay, so it's an action plan that doesn't have any activities, which, curious. Not sure what that action plan is, but from here, if you needed to see, oh, I'm not running that action plan, I'm not doing this. And let's say you don't have things automated from the way that you disposition stuff, you could click action plans view, you can go to trigger, and now you can either go find the action plan that you want to use. You can, if you have different folders, you can find it through folders. If you know the name of it, you can type the name of it. That way you can get to the action plan quickly. And then here it's kind of just like a custom way of setting it up. So if you needed to push the date out till, let's say you want to start next Monday, you could. By you doing that, it also go ahead and adjust the dates based on the triggers and days that you've kind of set it up within the action plan. It'll go ahead and recalculate it for you. So now if you're good with the timeline, now you just might have to adjust the times. That way it's not all every day at 9 a.m. Somebody had asked me if they don't put in, if these times aren't specific or if they don't put them in, right? What time does the CRM use? So one time Rick Allen was doing work at 11:59 in the morning his time. And he said to me, Jeremy, but I set it up for the following day and I didn't stipulate a time, but I did send out the action plan. when he went back to look at it, he saw that the action plan delivered, well, was sent that day, but at 1 in the morning. He was like, well, why? And when I looked into it and had the developers kind of backtrack it and figure out what went on, they found that he had initiated that email. And then so that's when I asked him, Rick, what time were you in your CRM? And he was like, oh, it was late night. It was 11:50 something. And then so whatever time that you do stuff and you're not specifically putting a time and you're starting an action plan, it will basically take the current time and that will be the start time where you are in your computer. That'll be the start time for your for the whenever you engage that action plan. So what he had to do is basically set up the date, but also set up the time to where it was, let's just say PM, and that wouldn't have been an issue. So something that I saw him do, I like to work at night when it's cool, nobody, nobody bothers you. However, you got to set these up, and that goes for the same thing for when you set up a normal email and you have more details like right here, you'll see that it's basically picking up onto this time. Now, if you just didn't think about it and you went ahead and changed the date, this basically is going to still stay the same on the time, and that could cause for that email to get out at late hours. Go ahead, Bill.
I was just going to say a time zone's based on or that time is based on the time zone you set up in your profile, right?
Correct. Correct.
It always triggers off of that. Okay.
Yep. So
I thought it was.
your profile is where you can set that up by just clicking on your name. You'll see that it says here. That's why on my computer I have 11:13, but this is set up to Pacific time. So it shows 9:12. But I'm accustomed to that just because I work on Pacific. However, I live in a different time zone. And then whenever the times change, it changes for me as well. So it's just something it's been 20 years of doing the same thing, working in Costa Rica. So for me, it's kind of always in my mind. But for you guys that might not, you know, think about that, that is something in which just a friendly FYI when you're thinking about that, or if you're doing things at night and you want it to go the next day, just remember, adjust the time as well. And so, like I was saying, going from here, so when you're looking at all of these different, if you just wanted to look at recent activities through text messaging, if you did updates, right, you've got a couple of options that you can kind of filter by. And by just clicking the name, it'll take you to the full account. So if you needed to edit something, you could. If you needed to view action plans, you can. Products is another place where you can add products. So we haven't discussed this a lot. However, this is tied to when uploading data through the wizards and things like that. It's going to create products for all of the products, which is basically going to give the contact one contact obvious, but then it's going to give it multiple products for the different LegalShield plan, ID Shield plan. So that's what products is. Contact links. Not sure if you guys remember what contacts links is, but you can actually add people. So let's say you have a group account and you have a couple of contacts in your CRM that you want to link to the group account. Maybe they're not users, maybe they're just part of HR, people that you want to kind of, not bundle together, but well, yeah, bundle together in some shape or form.
Or brokers.
Well, I would categorize them different so that you could use them differently but you could just to kind of group them is what
No,
I'm.
I mean if that broker is linked to that account, because sometimes need to know, okay, that broker is the broker for this account. So it would link
Yes.
them to that account so I could note on there that they're the broker for XYZ Plastics, right?
You could, right? Like we could give all of these people some type of
I guess I'm looking at it a different way because just listing them as a benefit broker, that's fine. They're a benefit broker, but who are they the broker with? Are they one of my brokers or are they a broker for one of my accounts? Because in the future, I may want to prospect them to become one of my brokers.
correct. So what I want to highlight, right? This is simply so you can't do much from here other than that you just know that these people are linked, right? So it's not like I can click any of this. It's not like I can create an email and then have to where I can add those people into the you know what I mean? This is merely just something for you to, let's just assume this is a group account. These are just people that you want to maybe just have in your forefront about, oh, this is what they are, yada yada. So if you did want to do something with these people, you would most likely have to like grab their name, copy it, close it, and either search it and then pull them up and then send them their email, that kind of thing. So that's what I want.
Right.
It's
I
it's
guess
not
I'm not trying to send them an email from there. I just want to create a link for Diane Smith to link that to XYZ Plastics because she's a broker for XYZ Plastics. So if I pull up XYZ Plastics, she'd appear as a linked contact.
just as
And
a
then
link contact, just as a
and if I could go, if I wanted to go over and say, why is she a linked contact? Oh, that's right. She's a broker for XYZ Plastics.
right. But it
Okay,
is
that's what I mean. I'm just trying to create a link. So, because if I go and put it in her, how do I put it? If I go in and I put it in her notes, she's the benefit broker for XYZ Plastics. I always have to remember that because, like, who's the broker? Well, if I don't remember her name,
I would
I'm up
still
a creek.
suggest that you do that, that you add notes to her so that information's there based on
Well,
her.
correct. But
But
I want to create a link so that way, if I pull the company up, I see who's linked to it.
correct, correct. But it's only just like a visual tool, right? Not really intuitive. It's not like you can, check them and then add them into communication or anything like that. It's not there at that level. It's just a visual tool to know. So what I would do, right, is either use some type of referral source or some type of, right, have a referral source. That's kind of like what I do with you guys. Um, Anybody that says to me, oh, you know, Bob has been talking to me about the CRM. So in our CRM, I have something that says LSA slash, and then it has the name of the person. So what I do for accountability wise is I'll go ahead and add that person as a prospect and I'll give that as a referral source, right? And then if I have any notes, I'll basically add any additional information if I need to, you know, detail it because this is just not enough, right? And then I can come back and I can filter just Legal Shield and Bob, and then I'm going to find out all of the referrals that he has sent to me, and then I can check to see how they are, see if they've signed up. If they haven't, I can send everybody an email. So when it comes to wanting to utilize them, I would use maybe like a category or something along those lines so that I could quickly find them. If you have in your
Right.
whatchamacallit, in your
But I
sales
don't want to
status,
create 350 categories
you got
because
you got that
they,
many?
I could put benefit broker, but what I'm trying to do is see what do they link to is, so that's what I'm saying. All's that to me would be is as I'm working more with brokers, I'm trying to keep track more of all my accounts, who is their broker. Um,
I would probably maybe thinking about using a sphere, but
So then I'd have to create 350 different spheres. Here's a
then
sphere for benefit broker for XYZ Plastics. Here's a sphere for benefit broker for Jim's Plumbing. Here's a sphere for benefit broker for, and I don't
but
want
if
to
you
do
have
that. I'm
but
trying to link them.
if you have a broker referral, right? If you have a broker referral, you would only have one and he could be associated to more accounts. So you could look it up by broker. Would that help?
Not unless I remember their name.
I mean, you can always, like I said, have the visual tool of the group account having that person linked, right?
That's what I mean. And then I can,
And
because
then
I will
from
make them
there,
their own contact and
right?
I'll
But
put
then
all the notes in there for them. But I need,
there,
when I look up that account, just like on my accounts, one of my views, I have to see what the title is because I could go to, you know, Midway Plumbing and it's like, who was that HR director? And I don't want to try and go through hundreds of notes or different places to try and find who the HR director is. So in my views, that's why I'm creating a view that has their title. So that way I can see, oh, HRD right there. I want to have the similar thing for when I pull up the company, like you were saying, that linked contact.
Uh-huh.
So I can see who's linked to it. The broker's linked to it, the Aflac agent's linked to it, the, you know, the HR director's linked to it, all of that. And then I can copy their name, paste it in, do a search on that person.
Okay.
That would be the best way to do that, right? Because I could see who's linked to it at one spot.
Yes, yes. And curious to see how you know, further manage this, right? And if I can understand how you do it, just curious to see how, right? Because I'm gonna say if there was anybody, it was like probably Kathy and Cassie Prinky, the most amount of accounts and working. I think you by far have overcome that, right? So curious to see how you're gonna basically manage things and how you need it done because it could possibly help others in the sense of organizing it. And so I guess it would just be
Well,
something that we can look at together when when you're crossing that bridge, kind of loop me in and then again, if there's anything
I've
that we
got you
can
looped in 2.5 hours.
there you go. Well,
So
amen,
we'll
amen.
take care of it. We'll take care of it then.
But yeah, so those are the types of things that if we did need to do something to better accommodate that, then it's, as long as it's clear what needs to be done, I'm pretty sure we can, do something to fix that or to
Plus
make
one
the
tip for
experience better.
everybody, because I was starting to do this in Gmail, but I'm going to switch over to use Field Notes to do it. And because I hadn't looked into it good enough, where you said when you start to type an email, when do you want it set? You can do a future send. I deal with a lot of first responders. I can have an enrollment set up, but a natural disaster like the LA fires would have an impact on my enrollment. So the week before, instead of trying to remember who to send out an email to for upcoming enrollments, when I schedule the enrollment, I'm scheduling an email right then. Look forward to seeing you next week at this time, you and all your people. And then I schedule that to go out the week before. So I do a future scheduling on it. I'm going to start to do it through Field Notes, because in Field Notes, I can see he opened it, this and that, he saw it. And then hopefully, if I don't get a reply, I can touch base with them,
There you go. That's
because that will
utilizing
be
the
a good
system.
way to use it to so you have better show up on your enrollments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It would be good to track that to see, if that really does factor into people showing up.
Well, I hate it when I send somebody out or I drive out 3 hours one direction and they change the date.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating.
It is. The
Super.
worst one I had was 7.5 hours one direction.
Oh, oh my God. Well, we need to get you to private plane status or a helicopter status.
I've
Um,
already got regrets I didn't finish my pilot's license.
take a little dinghy out there. So another one thing that you can do, just like the dashboard, right, is if you opened up emails sent to people, just want to see what's so slow. But then again, got a lot of people connected. So with this one, if you've sent out some emails to people, you can go here. Not only can you pull up the message to see what it was that you sent the person, right? But you can actually click on the contact, right? So you can click on the name of the contact and it'll open that person up and it'll take you to his contact. I think it does because this is from me. So this is actually me. So keep that in mind. If you wanted to reference the email that you sent the person, you can now click on its contact. Now you're here. If you needed to make a change and disposition something, you can quickly add that change and then go on to your day. Same with emails opened. If you've got some special little sphere that you wanna track, then you can basically do your sphere. I think the key part of having a CRM is dispositioning things and knowing that you can quickly access the account and disposition it, add a sphere, right? So if you have automation with these, that's going to help you because just by you adding this, it's going to start something, start off an action plan. And then, of course, you don't have to think about putting in, the email manually. You don't have to think about putting in the appointments manually. Just depending on how you set up the action plans will essentially, do that. So that's the most thing that I wanted to kind of highlight is the fact and how you can use this system and get access from here, right? Now, if you were in your contacts, same situation. You've got access by just clicking on the name or the last name. It'll take you to the account. And then if what you're doing is sending people like one-off little emails, so let's say you filter, a special group of people with the filters, and now and now you just wanted to send maybe, a hello, how are you doing? Or if you have a template message, you could do that in a couple ways. You can highlight everybody that you want to speak to. You can send out a bulk message to everybody. So if you have a built template, you'll be able to do so. And this takes you to the email. This, if you wanted to, change the date on it, more will give you access to your templates. And then now you can send it out. Another thing you can do with this is, let's say you write a free-handed, beautiful email. You love it. I think I could use this tomorrow for the other group of people that I need to reach out to. So you can immediately from here save it as a template. So do that, because then it's going to save you time. You don't have to remember who you sent that email to from and then go back into it and do like a copy paste, right? You can immediately, if you know it's going to be a good email, just save it. If you needed to get to your message templates to do some organization or review what you have, this is another place that you can get to it. You don't have to go over here. You don't have to close everything that you're doing. That'll just take you to that. So that's another thing. There's quite a bit of things that you can do just from this one page. Now, let's say don't need to send multiple people anything, but you do want to send this person a quick little you can click on their email address, and you can click on their, if you have text messaging available, you can click on this. Mine doesn't have the setup on it done, but it'll pull up the text message template to where you can send you can send a text message that you write. You can shorten the message. Essentially, all of the capabilities that you would have normally to do it, it'll pop up and make that easier. Another thing, when going through this information, so like you've got everybody here, right? Now I only have 125, people have a lot more, but if I had to go through each one of these, review information, and then go to the next one, that to me would be real tedious. So what I would do is I would basically think of the columns that I want to have showing, and I would have those. And then so good columns to use are like the emailing ones, the sent and receive, having those visible. So if you had a group and you sent everybody a specific email and you know the date that you sent it out, then what you can do is you can pay attention to the last read, like the date of the last read emails. And if it has a recent date from when you sent that email, I am almost 100% up, let's say 98%, that if you open up that contact, you'll see that it's that specific email that that they opened. And so if you had some type of follow-up that you wanted to do, if you wanted to apply a sphere, you could easily just kind of go through the list of the ones that picked up onto it. And then now you can basically, if you needed to do a mass edit with the sphere, you can. So what would I use this a lot for is people who they're doing outreach to. In the beginning, we had like this. Well, we still have this action plan. It's the cold lead outreach, and it has like 12, 15 something activities: emails, text messages, emails, text message, and the text messages have like 2 credits, right? So you would be spending 2 credits worth in the text message. So what is the issue with that is when you start that action plan on 100 people, you could, depending on how long that action plan takes to send out all the activities, but let's say it sends it within a week, like this action plan did, depending on how many people, 200, 300 people, you would just burn right through your text messaging credits. And when I did it for like 4 to 5 months with the guy, you could see that nobody was opening the text messages. So we kind of had to switch up his approach, which was we split up the action plans to be email and text messaging. And then the ones that we would see emails open, we would then send text messages to. So it was kind of like a 2-part, but what we didn't want to do was waste resources. And it kind of worked out for him, right? He wasn't wasting his resources. The people that would open up emails would get text messages, and there was a small percentage of those people that were getting the text messages that were following up with. But before, he wasn't getting any kind of activity. So having that approach, even though it's good, right? And if you got text messages free to use, then use them. But he's also, he also has 3 or 4 events in the month that he needs to do all this little email back and forth. And so for him, that wasn't the smartest thing. He was just consuming credits and only able to do it for a couple of events. So by us going to straight emails and then viewing basically who's recently opened, we were able to just basically highlight the ones that were, and we would go through a large list of maybe like 400 people. Like 175 of those emails would get opened and had recent timestamps. And then it was those people that we would then set up and send a bulk text message to show up at the event. And he got better results, and he was able to do all of his events. So my rule of thumb is if I'm ever doing a filter on any of these categories, I will have that same category visible, because once you filter it and now you see the 60 people that came up into the filter, well, now you want to basically see that they have that sphere, but maybe you want to see what other spheres that they have. Maybe you want to look at, I was going to say, where's the referral source? Okay, so that's selected. Maybe you want to look at who's the authorizing officer. Maybe you want to look at action plans, right? Just to get an idea of what action plans, if you wanted to look at contact source, contact type. And so having those, now you can see that information at a glance and not have to go into these people's individual and kind of track it like this and keep on, reviewing. I mean, you can do it any way you want. If it's a small group of 6, 10, then do it, right? I'm not going to say no, but there's a chance where you guys most likely will have a lot more. And so just having it like this, I feel, is a big benefit. You can kind of at a glance scroll through all the ones that have it. And if you needed to select the ones that have just specific things, then you can basically, with the glance, just basically find the ones with the sphere that you're looking at. And then if you needed to then do like a mass edit, you could. If you needed to download just those contacts. So let's say these are all my networking and I want to reach out to them to talk to them if they know anybody that they think is, interested in setting up, becoming an associate, or if you just wanted, these are all your associates, you could download them. I'm always all columns that way. But I mean, if you know that just what you have visible worth of columns is all the information you need, you don't need to get lost with all the sauce, well, then you can definitely just use the visible one and it will only show you these you've selected. And then here's the 20 people that you have, and you can start downloading. Now you've got an Excel with those people. And so if you wanted to do a call list from here, there's those people. There's all of these contacts or all of these columns that you've. Now, let's say you wanted to make some changes to these or you wanted to add some information, right? I would be real careful because you limited yourself to just these columns. If you were to use this file to upload and like update your contacts, it's gonna clear out all of the other. It's gonna zero out all of the other categories. So one, that is why I like to download everything with all columns, because if I do something with these 20 and I change some information and I use it as a call list, and let's say I update some stuff, get a different email, all of those kinds of things, I can just make edits to that file and then I can come and bring back that file. And because those contacts have the ID number, which I don't know if you guys had a chance to see, but it has, you download from us, it'll actually show the ID number. And this is what it needs in order to not create a duplicate, right? So if you just deleted this, let's say you deleted the column and then you push this back up, all of these people would most likely dupe out because of the first and last name, possible email and phone number. So that's why I like to do all columns at the end of the day, just in case I don't cause that kind of, because I've had a real estate agent where she went and she did that for like 200 and she didn't download all columns. And then when she went in, she wiped all of her spheres. She wiped all of her groups, really big headache. So keep that in mind. Nobody likes to shoot themselves in their own foot. What else? Yeah, I would also say to everybody, get really good familiar with these options that you have here, right? So this one's the filter. This one shows columns. If you highlight people, you can start action plans in bulk, right? With this one, you can send bulk emails, bulk text messages. This is uploading data, so you don't have to have anything highlighted, but you can basically do this and start uploading. Downloading, we just looked at. So this is also a good thing for creating lists if you needed to have some type of backup, or if you have somebody that you wanted to help them and say, hey, here's these 10 people. No, you try to close them. And so, using that for team members, you could quickly make lists and have those and email those to people. These three little dots is where you can highlight all of these people that you want, and you can put them into My Leads, or you can remove all of those people from My Leads. We do have something to print mailing labels. So I see that a lot of real estate agents use this. Not too many of you guys send out physical mail. If you needed to delete contacts, you can with this little button, the trash can, and then mass edits, right? The thing with mass edits are, let's see, like these little options for when you set up, like for the plans offer chosen and for spheres, you can add just what's selected, right? So if you just need to add these selected ones, that's fine, but you also have selected only. So if you do this selected only and you just select these ones, you're basically cleaning the slate and just adding what you've selected. So you want to be careful with that option. And then you can also remove selected. So if you have a bunch of, useless spheres that you're not using anymore and you want to get them unselected from all these people, you have this option as well. And then I think that is that. But yeah, mass edits, those definitely help you. Now, you can do mass edits, or if you're uploading data, you can add these columns and you can put in the information, right? Now you can do it a couple of ways. You can do it from a download, or you can go to the ones that have manage items. So like referral source has manage items, and here you can copy the category, right? If you need, and then you can add it to the cell, and it will basically upload the lead fresh and apply the referral source, the sales cycle status. So you can do that from the upload, which would then save you the time of having to wait for the upload to happen and then come back to here, find the recent ones that you just did. Let's say you just uploaded 50 groups. Now you have to go through and do a math edit and make them servicing, make them active group, right? So really depends. If you want to save yourself the time and then just do it all in one big swoop, you could do that. It just would require you to have these as headers and then have this information copied, and you can always get access to these. So one thing I like to do, right, is I've mentioned a couple of times creating kind of like a text document, you know. I would have probably multiple of these if I was just working, and then I would have all of these items in like some text document. I would have all of these kind of just grabbed, thrown into a text document, give it the title, and then instead of having to go into Fieldnotes to figure it out, I would just open up my little text document and then I can just copy paste. And I have seen that that is the least pain in the butt, you know? So
I actually took your advice and did that, and I have various columns and stuff, and they're all on one page, a Word document.
just makes it easier to go there instead of having to go through all of this and kind of figure out which one it is. The only
Well,
thing that
plus
you
if
have
my
to,
son's working on things upstairs, I can just say, here's a document, and he can have those. So
yep, yep,
it
yep.
makes it easier. So
If you
I
wanted
also
to,
came across a very powerful video on identity theft before we end today. If people want to see it, it's on YouTube. I'm going to
mm,
be using it to contact my HR directors and my brokers, why the brokers should be getting this into all their groups, and for the HR directors, why we should take more action. I think it's a pretty powerful ID Shield video, actually done by T-Mobile, and it's on YouTube, so it's public.
There you
But
go.
if people want, it's under 3 minutes before we end. I can show it to you guys. I'm going to actually create a email with the link to YouTube to send out to the people I want to spur spring enrollment.
Well, if you tell me where it is, Bill, I can get that on the library and have it
Right.
as a resource for for everybody if you like. So whenever you get it, just
Well,
give
I
me
can
a heads
show it
up.
if you want. You can take it from there. Do you guys want me to show it? Do you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
want to see it?
I'll let you do it.
All right.
That'd be great.
Protect your children.
Can you guys see it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, no, no
There's,
audio.
yeah, so when you share your screen, there's a button on the Zoom where you have to allow audio. So you just so stop sharing and then reshare it again, and then on that sharing menu, like on the left hand side, it'll say with audio, and then you can do that.
Share sound. Okay.
Yep, share sound.
So I'm gonna go back.
Sure.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. It's me, Ella. Well, a digital version of me. Just a bit older. Amazing what technology can do these days, isn't it? All you need are a couple of pictures, like the ones you share on social media, where they can be taken and used by everybody. I know for you, these pictures are just memories. But for others, they are data. And for me, maybe the beginning of a horrible future. A future where my identity can be stolen just like that. Where I can go to prison for things that I would never do. Imagine my credit score being destroyed, Dad. Or my voice copied to scam you, Mom. Mom, I'm in trouble. I need you to send me money, please. I don't want to become a meme, humiliated by everyone at school.
Kill yourself, you fucking loser.
And I certainly don't want this. What you share online is like a digital footprint that will follow me around for the rest of my life. I'm telling you this because I know you love me and would never do anything to harm me. So please, Mom, please, Dad, protect my virtual privacy.
That is so true. That
I
is
think it's
so
pretty
true.
powerful, especially when companies are like, well, I'm not sure my people be into it, or I'm not sure it's for my people, or they
On
get
that one.
free monitoring through their credit card. Why would they want this?
Yeah.
Or they're on an old ID Shield plan. And it's like, well, why would I want them to upgrade and pay more? Well, here's why. Because you want that social media protection and awareness so that they can learn about these things and understand why they need to protect and be careful what information is put out there.
On themselves as well. Bill, can you share that link for that with us, please?
Absolutely will. Give me just a second.
Nope. That
I'm going to
is
put it in chat. And then if you want to, Jeremy, put it up in library. And when I do my email, I will go ahead and
Share it with us.
share that email to
Wonderful.
go up
Thank
there.
you.
There, it's in chat, everybody. And it's
Thank
on YouTube, so it's public. You don't have to worry about, well, do we have permission to use it? It's public.
yeah.
Okay.
No, you could definitely use. But yeah, no, there's definitely a dark side to like posting photos and things like that. And I've seen there was a comedian that, and of course he was just using it as, he was joking about stuff. But what he alluded to was there is the YouTube family channels, and the parents record a lot of, now in the eyes of a pedophile, inappropriate content. But when you look at the amount of views that they have, and then you look at the amount of subscribers that they have, and then when you look at the content, and then you start to look at how, you start to look at there's some sick people out there. I would I would totally tear that down with, you know what I mean? Because what sucks is I don't think that they're doing it necessarily innocent, right? Because when you looked at the subscribers were like the demographic were like males, and it's like it's kid content. And then when you looked at the videos, they were tying up the little girls doing stupid little kind of, scenes and stuff like that. And I'm just like, how can the parents not see what material they're putting out there and how they're using their daughters and their little boys, you know what I mean, to create what they think is just innocent content for other kids. And I'm like, guess what? That's not a million subscriber of 7-year-olds. That's and it was like 14 million. Those channels have, and it's all 45 to 50-year-old male demographic. I'm just like, this is the dark world we're living in. You know what I mean? To see
Right.
people like that. So it's like when you showed that video is that in a nutshell, but yet, it
Well, and
exists.
a lot of people, and I tell them this in enrollments, when you get a new phone, did you go in and turn off your geolocation data on your pictures? Because if you didn't, they can get into the metadata of those pictures and they can find out within 100 feet of where that picture was taken. Now they pretty much know where the home is, where the park is the kids play, where the school they go to is, because you shot the school play and put pictures up. You're putting all this location information out. And I know people say, well, I don't think that way. Well, for protection of your family, you have to start thinking that way. How can this be used against my family? And if you're afraid, well, I don't want to think that way, that's all the more reason to get the professionals on your side and give you the advice of what you should do to protect yourself.
Yeah, because people aren't thinking about it. They're just thinking they're hopeless photos, but with all the metadata is retarded. You know what I mean? Like what people can do. And then if you haven't seen those videos of Sean Ryan, I don't know if you heard of that guy. He's a military dude. He had a guy on his web podcast where he's now an ethical hacker, right? He used to hack because that was the fun thing to do.
Used to be a black hat.
But he saw web pages and users, and he even went to the government about like what he saw, and went to the news outlets, and nobody wanted to back him up. You know what I mean? From the stuff that he saw and the accounts that he had access to. And so it's like, if you're not thinking about it, that video right there will put it in, it'll put it in a perspective in which you better start thinking about it, or have something to just at least protect you in the event that something does go wrong. Hopefully, there is, but with nowadays,
But
shit
from our
can
point
happen.
of view, that's the key thing. This is a reason not told by us. This is another company, has nothing to do with us.
Oh,
That just
absolutely.
verifies why your employees need to know about the services we offer. Not just an email and hoping they open it, but why we need to get in front of them and share with them what's going on and why they need to protect themselves.
Totally a more impactful way of selling, the Legal Shield products and the products that I thank you for sharing that, Bill. Eye open.
Thank you. Thank you.
So with that, I will end this one. I'll continue with, some more things just to kind of help you guys better use your CRM in a way that you just don't do it in one specific way, because you can do things from many different pages. And so I'll definitely do my best to show you the things that I know that allow me to work a lot faster. And if any of you guys have any tips and tricks, I'd love to hear them as well. But I definitely thank you, everybody. It was a pleasure having this day.
Thank you. See you in a couple hours, Jeremy.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
All righty, everybody.